You embrace your flaws as well as your strengths. If you yourself don't like your flaws, then fix them. You don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. It is difficult, but try and embrace the change. Greatness is being the best at what you can be.
Thank you for being here, Shenaz.
Nice to be here, Zubin. Thanks for having me.
Sure. So why don't you give me a background from where you started your journey in the corporate world?
Sure, so I can start. I grew up, just going back a little bit further, I grew up on a small orchard in a small village on the outskirts of Mumbai called Goldwood. I remember I was in 6th grade when my family got the first PC, the first computer. And I spent hours tinkering in DOS on it, so I loved it. I moved to Bombay at the age of 15 because we didn't have any good colleges in our village. So I moved to Bombay, and at that time, I will say I was the only female in my class because I loved computers, so I decided to take electronics. I was the only female in my class for 2 years and spent time working, tinkering again, with electronics. And then I did my master's in business administration and joined BMG India to work on launching their international artists in India. So we launched artists like Whitney Houston, Christina Aguilera, so we launched them in India. At the age of 25, me and my dog, we moved to California. And that's where I became a prisoner of paradise. That's what I call myself. Because I was on an H4 visa, which did not let you work. So I was in a visa that I could not work. I had all these qualifications, all the education, but I could not work. So I pursued my passion and I started making films. I started learning about filmmaking and I started making films. I joined Concentric Media, which is a production house, as an intern. They helped me join as an intern. And I started co-producing documentary about AIDS in Ethiopia. And so once I got my visa, I decided to go pursue online video. Now, because I had a break in my career, I didn't have a US education, I had to start somewhere. So I joined Google Video as a temp worker. Thankfully, I had some very supportive colleagues at Google who helped me join product management. So I joined YouTube, where I spent 5 years working as a product manager. After YouTube, I worked in search, social, and now I work on the Pixel software experiences as a product manager. And I've been at Google for 12 years.
Was it different when you worked with YouTube and then search and now Pixel? So
yeah, it is definitely different. Google is an amazing organization. Like I said, I've been there for 12 years now. I never thought I'd be there more than 3 years, to be honest, because I hadn't been at any company for more than 3 years. But Google is an amazing place. Each team that I've been in has been different, right? But the constant has been, for me at Google, is the people, right? They're extremely smart. They are not afraid to question why. And anybody can question anybody. And, if you don't agree with it, you question why. You get it at response and you work through it.
So what are the few things you feel have been consistent to deliver that high-performing culture that Google's known for?
Like I said, I'll go back to it's the people, right? Google has a high bar for getting the right people in, right? Google is extremely stringent in its interviews. Like, we spend a whole day interviewing people and making sure that when they come in, are they the right people for Google? Are they the right people for the team? So I think it's the people. And the other key thing for Google is focus on its user, right? It's ingrained into us that user comes first, right? Make sure that we're building the best experience we can for the user. So I think those are the two things that Google kind of inculcates into its people when they join.
So even though the caliber may be high, I'm sure there are averages which you all may benchmark with. So there would be yet someone known, is there someone known as, or teams known as high performing teams, while some need to kind of get a little push, or what's the average? Where do you really average out?
I don't think we have something like average teams or high performing teams. I don't think we have that. Like I said, I've been in multiple organizations. We have a very good performance assessment. We have every 6 months we have a performance assessment, right? Where you kind of think about what you're good at and what you're not good at, right? One thing that I've learned over the years, and I think Google has taught me that, is that you embrace your flaws as well as your strengths. If you yourself don't like your flaws, then fix them, right? And I think that's what we learn, and you kind of identify what somebody is good at, what's somebody's strength, and you try and build a team which is, has all the pieces, right?
Okay. And when you work with your team and you lead teams, what are the few things you believe you can assist or create an environment for your team to really, be happy at work, do what they're supposed to do, meet objectives, meet targets, and want to turn up again and again every day?
For me, as a manager or a team leader, it's very important that my team is happy, has a good work-life balance, right? It is extremely important for me that they feel comfortable talking to me, understand what success means to them, understand what makes them happy, what drives them, right?
For the, let's say, someone coming out of college today, if you had to give, words of wisdom, what would it be for them to succeed? Are there certain do's and don'ts you have in mind for anyone to succeed?
Couple that I hold close to my heart. One is you don't get what you deserve, you get what you negotiate. A second one is don't give up, right? I hold this, I don't know if you guys must have seen this movie, it's one of my favorite movies called Galaxy Quest. Never give up, never surrender, right? So even if people say no, give it a shot, give it your best shot, even if it does not work. Embrace the change, see what's good out of it, right? There has been a lot of changes in my life and I've tried. It is difficult, but try and embrace the change. I think those are some of the big ones.
Yeah,
that I would
great
say.
ones, I think. Great. And the other thing, in your role, you kind of own the experience of the product, your responsibilities across different markets.
Right.
So anything which stands out for each market you've been to or your product delivers in?
Each market is very different. Japan is a very different market than an Indian market, right? Or the United States market. We do look at input from different markets to see how we can tweak our product for those markets.
Innovation is a big thing in your industry. So how do you predict, let's say, what are the next 5 years you think so, with technology, new trends? Do you have any comments on that?
I think we're just scratching the surface, and I'll talk about Pixel, right? We have launched Pixel 3 recently worldwide, as in X markets, 12 markets, I believe. And what we can do with the phone now is amazing. Like what we can do with the camera now is amazing. One of the key features that we launched on Pixel is called Top Shots, which is many a times when you take a picture, right? Somebody's eyes are shut, and you now, I don't know if you remember, you take 2-3 shots, right?
Correct.
Because you're just not sure. What we launched with Pixel called Top Shot is that you take one picture and we will recommend alternate shots, which everybody's eyes are open, everybody's looking at the camera, everybody's smiling. I don't think we had thought of that feature a couple of years down the line, right? It's an amazing feature. I've been using it on my Pixel and I love it, right? I sometimes feel we're just at the cusp of it. There is just such amazing features that are going to come.
How do you define greatness?
For me, greatness is being the best at what you can be. Even if, say, you're helping with your kids' school funding effort, right? Make sure that you dive in and do whatever you contribute to, not just giving money. If you're helping with something, just dive in and do the best you can do with the time that you have. So for me, that is greatness.
Do you try and influence your team apart from like staying out or trying to make them feel happy? Are there certain ecosystem you try and intentionally provide for them? Any tools or just the way you are?
Google has a lot of tools, right? We have our performance reviews, we have our offsites. I make sure that I connect with my team on like twice, a bi-weekly basis. And one of the things that I always ask my team, like, what are you happy with? What are the challenges? Like, what is bothering you right now? And we can discuss that as a team, right? Just so that everybody communication is important, right? At the end of the day, it's all about communication, right? One of the VP of product used to say, communicate, communicate, communicate. And if you think you're done communicating, communicate again, right? So communication is important.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
Thank you.